Hey, hello everyone. Welcome again to another edition of Find Ways to Win. Hope your days is going good. I hope your day is going good. I'm having a very good, relaxing day. Looking forward to getting on here talking to you lovely people. Um, I truly enjoy it. I like so appreciative of my audience, so appreciative of my subscribers, so appreciative of the guys and the gals who take time to listen to me, whatever part of the world, and so appreciative of the feedback so many other things are happening. This channel is growing. When I started out, I had a couple of plans that I wanted to succeed, and I fortunately I had developed into a person who has learned that things take time, and you can't measure yourself by anybody else, and you can't look at what they're doing and where they are as opposed to you are even start at the same time. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you are running your race and you are running your race alone. And so, you go at your pace. You're not trying to get results of someone else. You're just out there just getting the results that you know that you're capable of achieving at that time. When you grow and you mature and you acquire more information, acquire more strength, then you can run faster. But it's just best just to run at a good consistent base where you're a good consistent pace rather, where you're actually literally enjoying the journey as you go along. Hey, I want to talk to you guys along the line of just one inspiring teacher who injects belief into you. Just one inspiring teacher who injects belief into you. Belief is so vital. How vital you may think it is. Here's something to think about. Inspiration and belief is to the human spirit what water, air, and sunlight is to the human body. It is simply something you can't do without. It is something. It is something that you will wither up and slowly just waste away and eventually die if you don't have that inspiration and belief. You can't accomplish anything worthwhile, and you're certainly not going to call or hold anything worthwhile if you're not inspired, if you're not believing in it, if you're not believing in yourself or who you're with or what you're doing, and you just can't achieve anything, and you will never ever be fulfilled if you don't have that. You always be worried about if falling away or they're going away, and even if they do, you'll be crushed. Now, if you have inspiration and belief, you can go right out there and build again. You can go right out there and achieve again. We live in a society that people have such low self-esteem. People are having so many struggles in life. They're taking the various drugs to go to sleep. They're taking the various drugs to shut their minds off. They're on psychiatric couches, and they're crying tears when they shouldn't. They're dealing with all kinds of anxiety disorders. Yes, I know a lot of those can be. I know a lot of those can be a chemical imbalance. I'm aware of that. I had to deal with some anxiety issues myself, so I know what it can do. But I know that you can make a choice at times, to change your attitude and to change your life. Now, am I going to say it's all that easy? Yeah, I do think it is. Do I want to say that you need to get help sometimes? Yeah, I know you do. But you gotta remember back those times that was something or especially someone inspired you. I've had a couple of people throughout my lifetime who has inspired me and inject belief in me, even when I didn't have inspiration or belief myself. But maybe hearing them speak in a crowded room. But as far as I was concerned, I was the only one there. I've been an individual where I had one-on-ones with great teachers, great men and women, men of God, and great titans in business, and people who are really doing something, and people who just saw something in me and inject that critical amount of belief and inspiration in me at the right time that was able to so much turn things in my life around. They didn't give money. They just gave a word, which was more valuable than the money. They didn't really sit out there and take me out to dinner most of the time. They just interjected something. They just gave me that shot that I needed to go ahead and carry on. I needed to go out there and keep running my race. Or I like it into like the life fuel. No difference from when you're putting nice petrol in your car and everything like that. You need that in order to continue your journey, especially if you're running down on empty. Your job as a leader. Your job as a leader, the number one goal for you as a leader is to inspire and inject belief in your team. To inspire and inject belief into your team. You're not concerned about using fear tactics. Those are archaic. They don't work, and they will get you, and they will lead people to resent you and not and not really respect you. They will deal with you because they have to, but the second they're able to get off under that type of foolishness, they're going to go. The human spirit is not made to be beat down. It's not made to be to be criticized and condemned. There was a book I read, and actually I continue to read it. It is actually literally right in my car. It never leaves. It's Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It talks about, if you want to really dull a human spirit down, if you really want to just clamp up a human spirit, just criticize, complain, and condemn them. They're going to just close up because the heart is not made like that. The best of a person is made to blossom under praise and encouragement and belief and adoration. That's where you really truly get the best out of the person. If you think that you're going to consistently go about yelling at people and demeaning people and laughing at people like that, they're going to resent you, if not hate you. And that's going to be the absolutely true. Now there are certain things that you can have a strong authoritative command structure, like our special forces, our men and women in the military. Hey, they're used to people they're used to people getting on them, yelling at them. And hey, you know what, that commander, that drill sergeant, whoever's training them, they're training them to train for harsh battlefield conditions. And when you're getting ready to go in conditions like that, they're not going to speak soft words to you because the enemy is not neither. So could you imagine a special forces soldier, one of our SEALs or frogmen or Green Berets and Rangers being trained along these lines, and someone's yelling at them, they get in their feelings, say, "Don't yell at me like this," when they got bullets flying around them and they got these incredible missions where the man's tough. You got to be able to control your emotions, and you got to be able to move on despite every kind of distraction. But most of us don't live in that environment. Most of us sit up here in the public sector, and we're just trying to make a difference in our lives, and we certainly want to make a difference in the lives of other people. One inspiring teacher is all it takes. I'm reminded that of one in particular, Dr. Bernard J. Sloan, Dean of New College, University of Alabama. I was having a tough time academically, and it got so tough I literally have flunked out of school. They was about to send my butt home. But Dr. Bernard J. Sloan was the dean of New College, and he was my personal counselor. Now, I was too proud to actually call him because I just didn't want to bother the man. I rather went home, and I didn't know what I was doing. I sat outside the bench at Carmichael Hall at Alabama in Tuscaloosa. I was just dejected, but I had a friend. I had a very, 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 very close friend. I have a very close friend. His name was Jim Zigmont. Jim Zigmont didn't ask my permission to help me because he knew I was in a pit that I just sat on the floor. I just couldn't get out mentally. I couldn't believe this happened to me. That man called Dr. Sloan on my behalf. And Dr. Sloan knew that I was a worker. He knew that I gave it everything I got. I tried, always was respectful to him. And Dr. Sloan, with just his word and just his power, used it to reinstate my college career. Had Jim wouldn't have did that, I would not be the graduate I was because my belief was just beat down to the toilet. It was gone. But just because that man did that, Dr. Sloan, when he granted me back reinstatement, that injected belief in me, and that injected inspiration in me. And I went on to become a grad, and I went on to achieve things, and I went on to build business, and I went on because you know what, I saw what how it could transform me by the simple reason that someone believed in me. Who is that has been for you? You know, but many of us as one or two teachers, maybe it's a parent, maybe it's someone who inject that belief, maybe it's a spouse or a child. You never know where this comes from. God Almighty will use perfect strangers or raise up perfect strangers to inject courage and belief in you. You know, when even your own family members will not do it. Now, once you get that belief that belief injected into you and that inspiration injected into you, you go out there and do the work. But now you're going out there and doing the work with a greater sense of urgency, more of a lightheadedness, because you know that someone has believed in you, and it's more importantly, it's caused you to believe in yourself. And you go back out there and fight again differently. And you go back there and perform again differently. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you're not going to achieve anything great in life, and you're certainly not going to uphold anything great in life if you don't believe that you can. God's word calls it faith. You know, which he clearly says in Hebrew, at least Lord God of Israel, the one I serve, he says that in the book of Hebrews, without faith, it's impossible to please him. Well, if he thinks so highly of that, without faith, belief, and stuff, it's impossible for you to achieve anything. It just truly is. And so you got to protect your beliefs. You got to really guard your beliefs. You got to guard things that's coming in that it goes against your belief. Music or television programs or conversation that causes your belief to be dull. You need to be around the opposite. You need to be around people, situations that's going to sharpen your belief and hone it to a razor sharp edge where you can get out there and fight and continue doing the battles you need to fight, and more importantly, you need to win. Sometimes you're not going to get overnight victory. I've often heard overnight victories, sometimes overnight successes rather, sometimes take 20 years to become overnight. You don't know what that person is paying the price with the sleepless nights and the marital strife and having to deal with financial insufficiency, having to deal with raising a family or having to go through stage and bouts of loneliness, depression. Yet they keep going. You don't know what that person is dealing with. All that person knows is I have to get to this dream. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes your dream is all you have to keep going. I spoke on that subject one time. Sometimes your dream is literally all you have to keep you going. Someone asks you, why are you doing this? Why are you taking why are you taking all this abuse? Why don't you just go out and get a job? Why don't you just go out there and maybe move on from this person? Why don't you walk on a family? Why don't you go put another one? But you see something different. You believe, you see it what it can be. You see it what it will be. So therefore, you're not so quick to give up in most circumstances. You're not that, because you see the finished product, and it doesn't make a difference what anyone else can see as long as you see it. That's called an unwavering belief. One teacher who injects that into you at the right time, who inspires you. And what I mean by inspiring, God, you feel like just vibrating off your chair. You feel like running around the room because they've woken up a hunger and a passion in you. And then they come behind and inject that belief. And sometimes they do it with the magic word, I believe in you. For many of us, that's all it takes. And some of us, we don't have to keep hearing it, over and over again from that person. They can say it one time, but those words are so powerful and penetrated in our spirit. They just keep growing and growing and growing until we believe, you know what, I am a winner. I can do better. I can't achieve. I can't have great things in life. There's no one better than me, and I'm not better than anyone. You will not outwork me. I'm going to go ahead and look at the finished prize, and I'm going to attain that. The great coach, Paul Bear Bryant, he once said, I ain't nothing but a winner. I have that plaque hanging in my house, in my home right now. Right as I get ready to go in my bedroom, I can look at that plaque and to say, you ain't nothing but a winner. Vince Lombardi, said, hey, there is no goal for second place. What in a great poem that he wrote and was been coined all over the world, it's called "What It Takes to Be Number One." Look it up, and you will actually enjoy it. And perhaps you will get inspired too. I certainly did. It's right behind my book rack right here in my kitchen, where I can look at that every time I go in. And what it takes to be number one, you got to put in the work. I often talk about that so much. Putting in the grind. You gotta love the grind. You gotta love the work. You gotta love how to endure hardness. You gotta love that on the way to the goal. You can't go away from it. You gotta be like some of these brave leaders, who when the gunshots are flying and stuff like that, they're rushing towards a shooter. They're not running away looking to get cover. They're engaging. You got to have that type of belief and courage and ability, to know that you got that. The only thing you think about is you got to get there to help. You got to get there to overcome this thing. We see it in our firefighters and many of our people in these great professions who put their life on the line to save people's lives. Man, it takes a special degree of courage to do that. Not knowing that you may not even come back. And for those men and women, I salute you on that. But you got to feel the same way about your dream. What if your dream is in a burning house? Are you going to go get it? If your dream is like, okay, this obstacle seems insurmountable, this obstacle seems to be too great, are you going to go out there and fight and focus your energies and your strength to go out there and still win? Or are you just going to turn away and say some other time and just let that thing die because you made excuses? You didn't have the courage to constantly, relentless, continuously pursue until you have that. You're not going to ever achieve anything worthwhile if you don't. And so you got to develop that. It starts with the small steps. You set small goals, but one of the things you want to learn how to do is start keeping your word. Don't give your word to something you don't plan on doing. Be very, very careful when you give your word to something. Let it be when something comes out of your mouth, people can say, hey, I know him. I know her. If they say something, you can bank on it. You can count it. Little stuff like that starts building your belief system. Be one who is obsessed with being on time. I tell you, here's a rule I like to live by. Being on time is actually late. You want to be there early. You want to be there, about 10, 15 minutes early, sitting out there, whether it's out in your car. You want to be ready. You don't want to be rushing anything. You want to be there where you can go where you can go in your mind and replay mental degrees of you're getting the job, or they're saying yes to your offer, yes to your proposal, or the finance is saying yes, we love this. You got to learn how to be on time. You have got to learn how to do that. Give your word. Be on time. You have got to learn, to do what you say you're going to do. That's called reliability. People can depend upon that. Both men and women respect that quality about an individual. If they say something, they do what they say they're going to do. And you gotta be a person who's given over to production. You want to be known about this person, about you, and that he produces, she produces. They produce. They bring home the meal. They get it done. And those are things that start inspiring and help building your belief up. And number 5, they got to be woven together by the thread of consistency. You got to do it consistent. You got to be on your game consistently. Constantly keep doing those little steps. And those little steps are going to be soon become giant steps. And you're gonna be well respected. You're gonna be well valued, and you're gonna continue to increase in your life and increase the life of others. You be that, and then once you have attained that, Be a teacher who gives that back to someone else. Be one who inspires and injects belief into someone else. You can look at a person's eyes and tell if they believe, but they don't believe. You can look at a person's facial expression or listen to their voice inclination and tell whether they believe or they don't. Have they been battered? Have they been beaten down? And if that's the case when you're talking to someone, be patient. Because sometimes they've been beaten down by life or circumstances out of control, or even by their self-talk. It takes a few times to get that belief into them. Don't just be so quick to give up on people. What I mean, well, if they don't get it, they don't get it. I'll just move on to someone else. I don't consider that person a teacher. That person is a hinder. That person like that is just an impatient jerk. It's best that you don't even sit around there and talk to someone and try to give them a false sense of belief and snatch it away if they don't perform. You do more damage in their life if you just would have kept your mouth shut. And I don't apologize for that statement, but you have to work on your belief, your belief yourself. Back in my days, and when I was a teenager growing up in the '80s, we read this. Still some of my library books. It wasn't so quick to get subscriptions, audio subscriptions online, or read a lot of online articles. It wasn't doing that. People would take time to buy a newspaper, drink their coffee, and break it down. People would take time to buy books and break them down with a pen and marker and read, and sometimes read out loud and get that in their head. This is the way I was trained, and I still love going to bookstores right now. Do I like listening to audio books and stuff like that? Yeah, but not as much as I like reading. I seem to be able to retain it more so when I read it, because I'm mulling it over and over and over into my mind. I'm learning concepts. I'm learning things, looking at different ways of thinking, how people are thinking, how I should be thinking. How can I take something around that that's to continue to get my belief up? And another thing, when you know that you're believing strongly, and I should have mentioned this along with the others, but right now it's just as good as any. When you start really believing in what you're doing, and when you start really being inspired by what you're trying to do, you don't waste time. You have a hatred for wasting time. You just don't do frivolous activities. You just don't get on there and just have frivolous conversation, because you'll understand the value of your time. If you're sitting around there, surfing on the internet too much and looking at mindless stuff and listening to mindless conversation, hey, why aren't you out there working on your side hustle? Why aren't you out there reading more trade journals on how to get better with your craft? Why aren't you out there taking a few extra moments and a little bit of time and working on your body, working on your mental health? Why aren't you out there practicing learning a new language or stuff that's going to be a big benefit for you as far as where you want to go? Why waste time? So when you have that belief and you're inspired for greatness, you don't waste time, because you begin to understand how very, very precious it is for you, and you have to do something about it. And with the time that just went by, you wasted, you'll never see it again. So get very, very serious about your life. Learn, once you're inspired, become one that inspires others, and expect greatness out of people. If people are human beings created in God's image, how dare another person call another human being worthless? I mean, who the heck are you to place that title on something? That they're worthless. Well, they can say the same thing about you. You think you're grandiose because you reached a certain level of success. You think you're grandiose because you got a different a prominent last name. You think you're better than people because you was born in a great socioeconomic class, or you think because your daddy's last name or the color of your skin, you think you're superior to people. You are a damn fool. And somebody needs to tell you that. A human being is a human being created in God's image. And can achieve the same amount or even greater amount of greatness that you even dreamed about. You got to walk humble in this world. You never know who you are inspiring. There's a story that is quite known. There was this little boy, teenage boy who went to evangel event. And he wanted, he's a young guy, just wanted to hear the gospel. And there's this great this great pastor whose name was Mordecai Ham, and this young man wanted to hear him speak, and he did went there to hear him speak. Well, little boy from North Carolina got so inspired from that little boy grew up and preached the gospel to more people than anyone in the history in their world. That little boy from that teenage boy from North Carolina was named the late great Dr. Billy Graham. The world knows him, but he had that mission. He found his calling because somebody inspired this man. This man was inspired by a great leader and a great teacher, and he went out there and basically, gave his life to that cause. You can be inspired. You can make a difference. You never know who you are talking to. So how dare you get up there and pervert another human being or make them feel low simply because you have some God complex? No, you're not God, and you never will be, and you never was, and your daddy and mama wasn't neither. So you need to learn how to walk humbly in this world. If you're going to open your mouth to talk to another human being, let it be something of inspiration and belief. If they're being wrong, call them on it. Call them on that. And there's ways you can do that, but don't you dare destroy someone else's dignity because you feel that you're in a certain thing. No, you're not. No, you're not. The only reason you keep doing that because you ain't came before the right person to check that foolishness. No, and so what you're trying to do is make a better world, not only for yourself, but each and every person you encounter. Some of you guys who feel that you don't matter, and some of you ladies who feel you don't matter, and you spoken words, and you will never know who you have inspired. They'll take that, and maybe they won't get a chance to write you a postcard and tell you what you were and tell you what you did in their lives. But I want you to know you have been very, very instrumental in the success that they have. And according to spiritual matters, the success that they have, you're going to reap in it. So you started. And also according to spiritual law, if you choose to inject evil and you inspire evil, guess what? That you and your family are going to reap the evil that you sown and you inspired in other people's lives. There's a little law called as you sow, so shall you reap. It's a lot broader than what we think. No, a lot broader than what we think. Some people are calling that karma and everything else like that. Well, or many other things like that. Whatever you decide to call it. But your job is to be a help, and your job is to be a placement of good on this earth. You only give it so much time. No, so hopefully this message has inspired you guys, to dust that belief off. It's in your heart. Remember those things of what people have said to you, people who have spoken greatness over you. Remember those prophecies. Remember, you went through a couple of hardships. You got off a track, so you think. But if you got breath in your body, you and as there's a God in heaven, you still have hope. Your life isn't over because of a mistake or two, or a bad choice or two. There's a difference between choices and just mistake. Let me tell you what a mistake is. You go to the gas station and you want to get 87 in your car, and you accidentally press the 93 and you put a higher octane. That's a mistake. But let me tell you what's not a mistake. That's a choice. Going around cheating on your wife or your husband. Going around being a very cruel person to people because you can. Racism, discriminatory, doing like that, thinking someone else's culture is inferior to yours. Those are choices, not mistakes. That's a deliberate action planned to hurt people. So I don't have no mercy and understanding for that, for stuff like that. And don't dare come out there and say something to me like that it was just a mistake. No, it's a choice. And the only way you undo that choice is you make choices that undo that work. You get good choices, you make bad choices, but it's always a choice. Stop hiding behind this mistake language, and all that kind of stuff with this blame game language. Stop doing that. You're not fooling anybody, including yourself. But if you want to be an agent for good, be one. Be one. But inject it, because that's part of your lasting legacy that will reverberate through centuries, long after you're gone. You never know who you're inspiring. You never know who you're injecting life is. And people need you for that more than anything else. You know, with a suicide rate, rising all over the world, with loneliness, with despair, with all these other issues and suffering, people suffering in quiet desperation, as the great poet Henry David Thoreau would write. Just suffering. Be someone who injects goodness, love, peace, belief in the things. Like, this world has enough hatred in it. Don't you be one to add on to it. Get serious about what you want to do in life, ladies and gentlemen. Get serious about where you're going in your life. Put down the failures. Quit talking about what you used to do and how you used to be. That's no longer relevant. How that person used to be with you, they're no longer here. Whether they died through desertion, or whether they died or they just left you, or something happened, that's gone. Okay, don't let that be the crux of your life. Get on and do something. Build something greater. Build something greater. No, be something greater. Be something greater and stuff. Be great. Be great. No, that's which leads me to another message I'm going to make. You're already great. I'll make that at another time. But get on with the business of living, ladies and gentlemen. You get one life. You get one life. And don't you sit up there thinking you got time. No, when I was a younger man, especially in my early 20s and stuff, I literally thought I was invulnerable. I really believed it. I thought no matter what situation I got in, I could get out. Whether I was climbing on rocks, whether I was driving. I used to drive so stupid at that age because I thought I could get out of anything, any driving situation. Until there was a situation to put me down, I lost that invulnerability. Now I'm very precious about my life. Now I don't take frivolous chances with my life, and I don't take frivolous chances other people's lives or not. But the big things I see, and I have witnessed in all my years of walking on God's earth, I witnessed that people take chance on their personal, their mental life way more than they do their physical. They let people just back up with their garbage. It's just dumping in their mind and dumping in their spirit. They let people they remain in toxic relationships where you don't got 3 seconds being in because they think they don't put so much time and they can't see their way out as a telling the person, hell, I'm gone, or not even telling them, just get out of there because it's destroying your mental mind. They put out all kinds of stuff. They make a bad choice and they feel they got to stay in a bad choice because after all, they made a bad choice, as opposed to turning around and trying to redeem themselves, and returning back to God, repenting and turning a whole nother direction. It can't do that, and it keeps them trapped and it wastes precious time. Get serious about the business of living. Get on your game. Get on your point. Get serious about the stuff you're trying to do. Right now time is ticking, and it's going to continue to tick. And you got to be dang serious about your life and where you're going. Male, female, you're not worthless. You're not done. You're not through. You got way more ahead of you than you have behind you, and that's the oxymoron that if people think about it. But think about it: if you really get serious about where your life, and no matter what age you are, be it your 50s, 60s, 70s, if you get serious about your life and you get really focused on where you're going, you can accomplish more in 2 to 5 years what you couldn't do in 45 years when you was divided and not focused and just going to and fro. You can achieve more in 2 to 5 years with solid laser-like focus, or the strong, determined work ethic, a strong, determined belief system. You can make up money. Money is created. People think you get out there and earn money. That's the first thing probably keeping you broke. You don't earn money. You create it. You create it with ideas and solutions and bring in the marketplace viable things that they want, and you market it and you get an audience and you create a global audience and a distribution center. And man, you will never have to worry about a retirement again. And you don't never have to worry about family wealth again if you want it, if you believe it. You're sick. Maybe you have these illnesses you got to fight off, like diabetes or cancers. People have changed their whole life by switching to certain diets, by cutting certain foods out of their lives, by getting rid of stress. I've heard about a guy who was real sick. He was given a very bad report. By the doctor. He said, "Cool." You know what? He went and ordered a couple of Three Stooges of a tape. And he laughed. And he laughed and like it got considerably better. Well, Fitzgerald, I don't believe that. I ain't asking you whether you believe it or not. I really don't care if you believe it. But according to the word of God, it says laughter is good medicine. So I choose to believe that. Laughter is good medicine. Laughter releases a special form of endorphins in your body that helps promote healing. It releases certain dopamine levels that help promote healing, that help make you feel good just by laughing. You can't cry and laugh at the same time. I mean, not that you're laughing so hard you are crying, but you can't. It's impossible to be sad and laughing at the same time. You got to get around it. You got to learn how to trick yourself and put triggers in your life that's going to promote your mental well-being. Being you do it through music therapy or whatever you decide to do. But you got to protect that belief. My daddy told me anybody can get something. Anybody can get a woman. Anybody can get a house. Anybody can get any number of things you want. The question is, can you hold it, son? Can you hold it? Getting it ain't the issue. Can you hold it? And that's what I'm saying to each and every one of you. Getting something is not the issue. Can you hold it? Well, Fitzgerald, how do I hold it? You hold it by your belief. You hold it by your belief. You maintain it by your work ethic. You're never so comfortable that you think you're going to coast, that you think you can take your foot off the gas. Yeah, when you reach a certain velocity, probably so, but then you're willing to get back in there to go to work. Because while you slipping and while you sleeping, someone got you in their sights and they looking to overtake your position. That's the world we live in. Get used to it. No? Get used to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this stream right now here. But, as I stated many a times, my streams find ways to win is exactly what they said. They're designed to inspire you and to inject belief into you, each and every one of them, to become the person who you know you can be, that you know you already are. I'm not here to make feel good content, although it can make you feel good. And the number one thing after you get done listening to the content that I want to inspire you, get out there and do the work. Get out there and put in the work. That's the number one mission. That is the hub of my channel. You got to do the work. You got to take responsibility for your life. You got to. That's your life is your life. Don't give that over to someone else. It's too precious. And you might not like the way they deal with you. Don't make a difference what you are. Don't make a difference, man, woman, black, white, Spanish, immigrant. Don't make it people who far worse circumstances than you done came up and built lives that's a story of other people's dreams. And are you going to call them lucky? But while you was sleeping, while you was frowning, while you was sitting around there thinking about how she did me wrong or how he did me wrong, they out there doing. They out there working and they're consistent. And boom, you see it all of a sudden all the way. But you didn't see, you see this great restaurant, but you didn't see the guy when he was making those pies and those great meals out of his garage and selling them. You didn't see when he was going out, taking orders and delivering personally with his truck because he couldn't afford a crew on a beat down car. And now you see a fleet of trucks. And now you see a great restaurant and with maitre d's and on there, and you want to say, well, he's lucky, he's born in the money and all that kind of stuff. No, he just outworked you. He had something that he believed in, and he went after it. You don't see that lady who started off like, she was a great seamstress and could really sew and make clothes, and she went out there and partnered with a couple people, and made the prom dress for someone and underbid even lost money sometimes and made that dress and had one of the students, a couple of students wear the product a bit, and then pretty soon, she got enough where she could open up her own storefront, or better yet, she went down to one major pieces of real estate and she just rented one of the displays just so it could be on the window and stuff. She doesn't in the store, but she was put her displays up there, and she went up there and created stuff and got that YouTube channel and did that and started that stuff and promoted about it. Now you see her designs all over the world. Lucky, huh? No, how about initiative? How about putting in the work? How about just being doggone tired of being mediocre? And how about saying, I want to see my names in light. I want to make a difference in my life and my family. I got something the world is willing to pay for. Home Depot came about by two executives who got fired from a construction store, and they started a Home Depot. It's true. They took a different concept for what they was doing because they knew it was work. And well, we know what that is. We know what Home Depot is right now. Or Coca-Cola, who started a guy with a chemist, and he, all of a sudden he discovered this incredible formula right in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, we know what that is. Harley Davidson started out of the garage. Hewlett Packard started out of the garage. Apple Computer started out of the garage. Don't despise small beginnings, but nevertheless, they went in there and put in the work. Are you willing to do that? Or are you going to write me emails and say, hey, Fitzgerald, yeah, I heard what you were saying, but there's such special circumstances, but I'm handicapped, but, I come from a broken home, but I was in foster care, but, I have a learning disability. Get your butt out the way. Either you do or you don't. No, either you do or you don't. This channel is to inspire you to do. No, let that be your mantra. I get things done. One inspiring teacher, ladies and gentlemen, all it takes. I had that teacher. I had that series of teachers throughout right times in my life. But you know what? I was in motion when they came to me. I was in motion. One of them just called me. I believe Saturday. The God placed on this man's heart to call me a great man I admire, all the way from Niagara on the Lakes, Ontario, Canada. But I know he's a great man. I know he's a great teacher. But he spoke something in me that just that Saturday that will change the course of my life. Just one word. Just one word. It's going to put me on a whole nother different path, and it's going to be a great path. What is that to you? What does that mean? What is the price that you could take someone from wandering around the mountain, not knowing where they're going to go, always going in circles in their lives, not getting where? How valuable you think that is to them, that you can actually put them on a path of greatness simply by you believing in them and you inspiring them? What has it meant to you, ladies and gentlemen, when someone did that to you? Or do you think you're just lucky? Do you think you're just hard effort, just got something and you did it? What does it take? Now, how much is that worth? Only you can answer that. And only you can show yourself and be approved for us for that. Hey, we can go on, but it's no sense. You guys already got the crux of this message. Please like, share, and subscribe. As my mantra, I just want to give thanks to all the subscribers. I wanna just extend a grand welcome to the new subscribers, those who share, and also on this stream right here, I'm going to single someone out real quick, and she's on here right now. This is Miss Kimmy Mondo from Kenya, who is a huge, one of the very first earlier supporters of mine, along with Dinah Samir and Two Visions. These people were early in the game. These people were just supporting me, speaking great words, and follow me, and sharing the content, let me know, giving me all kinds of good ideas. And Kimmy, I like to say I appreciate you and the people of Kenya. And Kenya has been spearheaded primarily by what you're doing. Man, I so appreciate you. And when things really start popping and going, I definitely want to remember you and going to remember you. Maybe you start off as moderator one sometime, and who knows, maybe you work the thing up. Well, I can actually pay you for the belief you injected in me. Because and how do you inject belief? You inspired, you wrote, and you just gave encouragement. That's invaluable. I can't put a price tag on that. And I'd like to personally thank you on this global forum for what you've done and what you are doing. I so much appreciate you. Now, and I know there are others, but I'm particularly calling this woman out because she is so much consistent, and she is so far as with giving that encouragement and writing me and everything. And I just have to give credit where it is due. And each of you guys have an incredible day. Until next time, thank you for tuning in to Find Ways to Win. God, we so appreciate you guys so much. And Kimmy had asked me a question on how to support, and I wrote her a private answer, but I will say this. YouTube has a certain algorithms that before you can monetize your schedule, your channel. I think it's something like 4,000 watch hours and thousands of subscribers. I'm way past that. But I have yet to get a letter far as for them, that let me know that I have the green light in that. Until then, I'll just keep making content. My Cash App is right on the screen. In the description of this video, if you'd like to support there and contribute. Hey, I appreciate it, but more importantly, my job is to support you guys, and we just so much appreciate you. And on that note, please have an incredible day. Until next time, thank you once again for joining Find Ways to Win with me, FitzgeraldStephens. God bless you all.